people who would label themselves as a combat veteran generally had something to say about how the system is being used and abused by those who don't deserve it. Okay.
Right.
And that was very obvious. It wasn't even a marginal. It was,
Right.
hey, this person complained. Oh, they want to talk about how they're a combat veteran. It was almost one for one. Okay. And what I have noticed even on YouTube and on Reddit, Facebook, or whatever platform you want to go look at, you will find a conversation somewhere that's pretty big about how, I don't know how an administrator that was in Wyoming for 4 years got 100%. It's like, okay, well, you're just kind of being ridiculous right now, right? But let's just hypothetically say there was a 4-year administrator in the Army, or I don't even know if there's an Army base in Wyoming. I don't know if anything's in Wyoming, but sure, right? Let's say that, a very small portion would probably be related, PTSD due to MST, and we absolutely cannot dismiss that. But relatively speaking, it would still be a very small number, or at least you would hope so, right? So let's look at all the other cases. Okay, well, you have a 24-year-old, female, no combat arms MOS, no field time. Maybe they broke their ankle, their knee, their hip. I mean, you have no idea what could happen. They could be driving home one day from work, get in a serious car accident, and now are paralyzed from the waist down. One of my friends was riding his bike and lost his leg in a crash, okay, while wearing the uniform. And Marines win 24/7. He was in the Marine Corps, right? And so, yeah, he's gonna get disability for that. And so there are all these. There's a billion different scenarios as to why that 4-year administrator in Wyoming would get 100%. And then you'll see ridiculous comments, Jason, of saying, oh, my friend lost a leg in Afghan and he was denied service connection. It's like, okay, send me the decision letter.
Right.
Let me see it. Let me see your amputee friend,
right,
who submitted for disability for having their leg blown off in Afghan or name your country, and let me see the denial. Or are you just on the internet being stupid?
Right.
I mean, which one's more probable? Okay.
Right.
And you know what? If there is a decision letter out there that has a denial for that, send it to me.
Please.
I'll pay
That'd be a great video.
Fees.
Yes.
Yeah, I will pay your lawyer fees. That won't even be an issue for me. Okay.
Right.
But you won't, because it doesn't exist. And so I think, that's a really long way around the barn to say, I cannot stand. There's so many things I can't stand about that situation. I really don't like veterans attacking veterans for any reason. Someone who served 20 years and never deployed versus someone who served 4 years and never deployed versus the opposite, where a 4-year person deployed and a 20-year person has 7 deployments. It doesn't matter. 20 years is 20 years. In fact, the day you take off that uniform, you know who cares about your deployments? Nobody.
You're right.
Nobody. I've learned that. I learned that quicker. That was my first lesson out of the Marine Corps. Because in the Marine Corps, you really there's tons of pride and judgment while you're in, right? You put your uniforms on, you got your beautiful ribbon stack, whatever that looks like for you. Once you get out, no one cares. No one cares.
Yeah. Nice story, bro.
So people will hold on to that identity, and it's really, I hate using this word, but it's toxic. I think it's appropriate to use that word. And so now you have people that are combat veterans, which implies that all the other veterans aren't as good. Their service is not equal my
less
service.
Than. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, okay, that's the line in the sand you want to draw. Are you sure about that?
Right. I'll tell you what, we are stronger together, right?
Yeah.
We are stronger together, and we need to be a united front. At the end of the day, whether you believe fully or not in certain things, in some cases, we as a veteran population just need to toe the line together, side by side. At the end of the day, we all signed the dotted line, right? And just because a war was happening when you signed, still doesn't mean you're going to get sent there.
Mm-hmm.
you have zero control, and to pretend like you had control over where you went and what your career looked like or your time in is a fallacy. I think that one of the things that is kind of pointed to here is this it's kind of bred into our existence in the military, right? The reservist who only served in reserves, right? And I'm already doing it only, right? Only served in reserves, who did way more than their civilian counterpart just by signing up for the reserves, right? But they even themselves say, well, I was only in the reserves, right? Anytime they're not even that proud about saying it. Oh, I was only in the reserves, right? And then it's like, okay, well, then you get to the person that was active duty, but they never deployed anywhere, right? Oh, well, yeah, I was in the whatever branch, but I didn't even deploy anywhere. It's don't even thank me for anything. And then it's okay, well, I deployed, but I didn't go to combat. I just went to wherever I went. And sure, I missed my son's birth, and sure, I missed out on some big things in life that I'll never get back. But I didn't go to combat. Yeah, sure, I went to combat. I went overseas to Iraq, Afghanistan, but it was already kind of, and I never even left the wire, man. I was there. I mean, we had some mortars land by us once, but that didn't really count. And then it's like, yeah, I went, but I left the wire. And then it's like, it keeps going and going until what? You're missing limbs until you can actually say something. So, oh, you're a combat vet, but you got all your arms and legs. What's up with that? Right? Where's the Purple Heart? Come on. So it's a dumb line to draw. And I get it. There is a distinction. And I'll tell you that for me, I'm not a combat vet. Not my fault. Man, I joined in 93, got out in 97 from the Marine Corps, and then I joined again in 09 and went to 2015. I'm ready to go. I'm mortars. Hello, send me, right? Oh, well. And so there's this piece for me as a non-combat vet, like, damn, I kind of wish that I did, just so I could have that little check mark, because you feel like you missed something. But I mean, I couldn't do anything. I mean, I wasn't a medic. They asked for a medic from our unit, and he signed up and he got killed 1 month after he went over. And I was like, oh, well, that sucks. So, there's this weird piece that we never feel like we really did enough, and it's kind of bred into us in the military. I remember when I was active duty, we would laugh at the reservists that would come and do some training at our base every once in a while. And so all that stuff kind of gets implemented. Your people that were in before you, like for me, I had all the people that went through the first Gulf War, right? That was a flash pan real quick in and out, but all of that group, the 1991 kind of folks, that was my corporals and sergeants, right? So that's who I had to deal with when I joined. And it's too bad because, the rules are the rules with regard to disability compensation. It doesn't say for combat only, right? It's very clear that it is not that. So to act and say that somebody's taking advantage of it because they didn't go to combat it's wrong. So you can't say that because you're wrong. It's that simple. You're wrong. They do deserve it because it's written in the law. So unless you petition Congress to get it changed and have Congress go change it, then that's never going to happen. So you can't even say it. It goes back to kind of your ideas and thoughts on that before, where with the claims companies, right? You can't say that they're all doing all this fraud. Prove it, right? You can't say something like all other veterans don't deserve it because they weren't combat veterans, because you can't say that because that's not how the rules work. It's very clear how the rules work. So that type of stuff drives me nuts too, Clay.
Yeah, it's when The Economist makes this really stupid article, I'm going to read it and make a video about it, whatever. That's fine. It's going to happen. When CBO projections come out, we're going to make videos about it just to show you what's happening in CBO. That's fine. That stuff is over there, right? But when we have like other veterans, I'm going to use the word targeting, right? Other veterans because their service wasn't up to par or at this, magical standard, it's like, okay, dude. I mean, what are you saying, really? Right? Do you want the big three criteria to be the big four? The in-service event, current diagnosis, nexus. Oh, and you got to be a combat veteran. It's like, okay, well, is that what you're advocating for? Like, say it with your chest, If you're going to say it, let me know. Let me know who you are. That I will make a video, and I'll put your name all over it, okay? But, yeah, that's really – it's not a unicorn and rainbow topic that we have this week, but it is something that I think is important for veterans to understand and listen to.